Hi, everyone, and thank you for joining us today. Welcome to our Expert Talk, Client Relationship Management. We're really excited to have you all join us here today. Today is Monday, November 23rd, and this is a live webinar, so we are really here streaming to you, and we're going to be answering your questions live as well. So thank you for everyone who's been able to join us so far. We have a very special guest today. Her name is Amanda Caswell. She is an expert freelancer. She's top rated, and she has a ton of advice to share with you guys today about our topic, client relationship management. So we really thank you for joining us, and we will also be answering questions for you today as well. If we have time, we will take those at the end of the presentation. So if you have any questions, please type them into your chat box down to the right of your screen. And again, like we said, if we have time, we will do our best to answer as many of your questions as we can. Again, this is a live presentation, so if you have questions as you go along, please feel free to ask them. We're here to help you guys. And lastly, this video is being recorded, so if you miss anything or if you can't stay for the entire duration, we completely understand, and you'll be able to most easily find this link or the link to this video by following the link that you used to register for this event. And we're also working on adding these recordings to our new events and webinars landing page. So make sure to check that out on the Upwork platform if you haven't done so already. And without further ado, we will go ahead and get started. So our agenda for today is that we'll quickly do some introductions for myself and for Amanda, and then I will go through some really exciting new updates that we have for Upwork, some things that we've rolled out through at the end of this year that I just want to make sure you guys are up to date on, and then we'll get a lot of really great tips from Amanda. She's going to be sharing all of her tips and tricks with you guys about how to best manage your relationships with your clients and how to make sure that your freelancing business is successful. And at the very end there, we will have time, hopefully, for some questions and answers to go live for you guys. So to get started, my name is Regan Murray. I am currently the ambassador for the Chicago area, kind of the whole Midwest. I'm the newest ambassador to the team, and there are currently 4 of us in the US. So you'll see us, we're the ones hosting the webinars and all of your educational events. So you can, again, find out more information about all of those events that we host on our new landing page, which I'll tell you more about in a bit. I'm a business professor. I teach accounting and finance at a small private university in Chicago. I've been freelancing for about 2 years now. And a fun fact about me is that I'm a certified PADI diver. So I love to get outside and enjoy nature, especially underwater when I get the chance. I'm from Florida originally, so any chance I get to be outside and to be near the water, I really love. Our guest today is Amanda Caswell. She's amazing. She's a senior copywriter and publicist. She's been freelancing for more than 8 years. So again, she has so much experience to share with you guys. We're really excited to have her as our expert, as our speaker today. She's currently expert vetted, she's top rated plus, and she's earned more than $100,000 on Upwork. So she is going to be a wealth of resource for you guys. And again, we're just so excited to have her. She was also ranked among PR Week's top independent publicist. So again, she has a lot of experience, managing with her clients independently over the last 8 years. And it's a skill that, a soft skill that is sometimes underrated, but very highly important. So for any of you guys that have started your freelancing career and started to interact with your clients, this webinar is for you, and I'm sure you'll find a lot of use out of it. So a few updates on Upwork and things that we've changed before I pass it over to Amanda. And the first one is going to be that we have some new talent badges. So you can see all 4 of those here. Our new talent badges, we know that you guys are looking for more ways to stand out and to access better opportunities with your high value clients. So we've recently launched 2 new badges. So we've kept the 2 previous badges, Rising Talent and Top Rated, and we've introduced 2 new badges. Those are going to be Top Rated Plus and Expert Vetted. We've also redesigned the colors of the badges a little bit just to make them stand out and make them all a little bit more unique. And just so you know, these 2 new badges do not replace the 2 previous badges. They're just in addition to. They're kind of, again, a new way for freelancers to stand out to your clients. So the Top Rated Plus badge means that you have proven success on large or longer term contracts. So this tier has earned over $100,000 on average. So These freelancers are working with either very large contracts or very long-term contracts, and even though they've earned $100,000 on average, there's only a $10,000 minimum earning. So still kind of high, but again, these freelancers are working on large long-term projects, and the requirements to be top rated plus are the same for top rated, just with a little bit of a focus on the larger and long-term contracts. And the other new badge that we've added is our expert vetted. So this is freelancers that have completed an extensive vetting process by technical and domain experts. So that means they have to pass both a technical skill test as well as a soft skill test. So these freelancers are representing the top 1% of all the freelancers that we have on the platform. So this is currently by invite only, so you're going to generally always be one of these other tiered badges already. But it is important to know that you can be invited to be expert vetted at any time. So just make sure you know that your profile is always updated, you're always staying responsive, and you never know when you could be invited to take one of these technical tests. So currently we only have them offered in a select few categories, but we're working on rolling those out to additional categories as well. So our next really exciting update is, you guys may have seen an email about this, but if you haven't, it's really, really great news, is that you're now able to initiate Zoom calls quickly and directly through your Upwork messages. So we wanted to listen to all of your feedback, and we know how important it can be to have conversations pre-contract. That was a lot of questions that we were getting before about not being able to take your conversations off the platform, or how do I do video calls? And Upwork previously had its own video platform, but again, we heard the feedback from you guys. You know that it needed to be improved, it needed to be a little bit faster, so we decided why not just partner with Zoom. So it's really easy to communicate with your clients now, and face-to-face, you know, kind of saves a lot of time for everyone. You can really get through any of those communication barriers, and again, my favorite part is that you can chat with them pre-contract, so you can walk them through your ideas, your expectations, any questions that you have, and clients really like feeling that sense of connectedness with you. And all you have to do is you can click the little Zoom button within your messages, and you can do this either on the Upwork app or online. So it doesn't matter. And the last important thing is that you don't even have to have a Zoom account. You don't have to go set up a new Zoom account. It's all going to be integrated through the Upwork platform and happen directly through the Upwork Zoom hosted account. So all users have access to this feature, and we're really excited to be able to roll this out to you guys. Another new update is a new way to earn for you guys, so you should be very excited about that. This is called our project catalog. It was previously known as our pre-packaged projects. That was what it was called in our beta form, and this is a new way for you to attract new clients and to help the right clients find you. So this is available to all freelancers, and this will allow you to gain new client exposure, land more projects, set clear expectations, and manage your workflow. It can also help you get clear and intentional about how you want to grow your business, because this is an opportunity for you to clearly define the scope, timeline, and price and offerings of all the projects that you would like to offer. That way it's really easy for clients to shop the projects that you have in your catalog and to find the freelancers that are right for them. Again, I think one of my favorite features about it is that it really can help you get more intentional about how you want to grow your business. You can create some catalogs and some offerings for the direction of business that you would like to take, rather than just waiting to apply to jobs that you see other clients posting. So I think that's really, really exciting. And clients will be able to search for all of these projects on upwork.com/services. And we're still in the process of rolling this out to all clients. So not all clients will be able to see this just yet, but that's why I wanted to make sure that you guys knew about it, that you're updated, and that you're starting to think about what you can put into your project catalog, so that as we continue to roll this out to clients, clients will be shopping for you and finding you and either pre-purchasing your packages or asking you to apply to their jobs. So really excited about this one too. And changes to job success score. So this is to help you guys succeed. This is some of the most common feedback that I think we hear all the time at Upwork, and especially as the ambassadors, is trying to understand how your job success score works. And the biggest complaint that we always had was, why do clients that do not give me any feedback negatively affect my scores? And guess what? Now they don't. So the first major changes that jobs that have no feedback will no longer impact your job success score, because you shouldn't be penalized if your clients are unable to leave feedback for whatever reason. So if this has been affecting your score previously, you may notice a new boost. So that's very exciting. We've also reduced the number of distinct clients that you need in order to get a job success score from 3 to 2. So as a reminder, that means 2 separate clients, not necessarily multiple contracts from the same client. But again, we just want to reduce these barriers to you guys, kind of make it a little easier for you to get positive feedback. So now all you need to do is make sure that you have at least 2 distinct clients, and you don't even have to worry about if you're not getting feedback from them. And the basic formula to kind of understand how your job success score works is that it is your successful outcomes minus your negative outcomes over the total number of outcomes. So again, whereas previously no feedback was kind of counting as a negative outcome, that's no longer the case. So it's just going to be your successful outcomes minus any negative outcomes that you have over your total number of contracts. So it's kind of the easiest way to understand where your job success score comes from. And again, if you had previously been impacted by any of your clients not leaving reviews for you, make sure to recheck your score, because you may see a new boost. And lastly, just 2 tips I wanted to share with you guys on your job success score specifically is that long-term contracts can help boost your score more than short-term contracts, and projects that have higher earnings can also have a bigger impact on your score than those with lower earnings. So again, those that are shorter term or pay less are not going to negatively impact your score at all. It's still going to be positive. It's just saying that those contracts that are longer term and or those contracts that do pay more can give you an even bigger boost. So just something to know as you're maybe applying for jobs or asking your clients to leave you some feedback. And another new exciting update is that we've added some new Upwork skills certifications. So now you can add and list some certifications from both third-party sites such as Google or Microsoft to your Upwork profile. In addition, we're also launching, or we have already launched, Upwork skills certifications that are currently invite only. So we have 10 of those that are offered in the web and mobile software design field, and we have 16 in the design and creative field. And we're still working on expanding these skill certifications in the future. So if you don't see one of these certifications for your specific skill, don't worry, we're still working on adding new all the time. That's why, again, we just want to share these updates with you guys so that you know what we are working on and what has become available, so that if you do qualify for one of these, then you can definitely check out this application here at the link at the bottom. So it says, if you're interested in an Upwork skill certification, click this link. And what you would do is you can apply by submitting some of your information. And because it is still invite only, if you are qualified after you submit that initial survey information, you will be invited to apply and you will be asked to complete that certification. But if you're not invited to apply, don't worry, we're going to save your information, we're going to keep it in a file, and we're going to reach out to you if and when we are able to add additional certifications in skills that you have. So again, just make sure you're always checking back for these. And if you're interested in any of them, check out that link below after this webinar. And maybe my favorite update, because as I'm one of the ambassadors here, is that we have our new Upwork events and webinars page. So previously you had to find this information kind of deep in our community threads, but now we've decided to make it its whole entire own page where you can find dedicated, easy to access, all-in-one information for all of our webinars and our upcoming events. So for information just like events for this one, you can find information about our speakers, our topics, and all of that in one place. So you can find a variety of information here. And we're also working on digitally uploading the recordings of these webinars so that you'll be easily able to find them, to rewatch them, and to share them. So this is really exciting. Again, all from feedback from you guys that, we kind of want an easier place to be able to access this information. So make sure you check out our new events and webinars page as well. And lastly, to kind of cap it off with the updates, is just kind of recapping about freelancing this year. It was a big year, post-pandemic. And so in September of this year, Upwork released its results of the most comprehensive study we've ever done of the U.S. independent workforce. And the results were really, really exciting. It found that a significant amount of Americans freelanced amid the COVID-19 pandemic, which in turn contributed $1.2 trillion to the economy. 1.2 trillion. So that's actually up 22% from last year, year over year. And the study also found that 59 million Americans performed some sort of freelance work this year. And that represents 36% of the entire US workforce. So a lot more people are not only working online and working remotely, but they're freelancing. And it's contributing to the economy. So, I think you guys all are aware of that if you're here attending this webinar now and focusing on growing your freelance business, but it's just going to continue to grow throughout this year and next year. So it's really exciting. And additionally, 75% of those freelancers who said that they quit their full-time job in order to freelance said that they made the same or more pay than they did in a traditional employer. So I thought that was really interesting as well. And lastly, I think kind of showing a shift in perspective of, the ability of all of our workers to want to and need to work online. 58% of non-freelancers this year, so people who are not already freelancing, who are now working remotely due to the pandemic, say they're now considering freelancing in the future. So more than half. So, as we continue to navigate this pandemic environment and continue to grow our own personal businesses, I think it's just really important and exciting that we highlight all the positives that are happening and coming out of this as well. So if you guys want more information about this study, you can see more on our Freelance Forward report on our website as well. But again, these are just some of the exciting numbers and findings from this study that we wanted to share with you guys. So that's pretty much it for updates from me. So I really appreciate you guys sticking with me there. And now, without further ado, I'm going to pass it to our amazing expert speaker, Amanda Caswell. She's going to share some tips and tricks with you guys about client relationship management.
Hi guys. Oh, I'm so excited to share what I have learned in the past 8 years, more than 8 years. And I love freelancing so much. I don't think I will ever go back into an office environment. I love having my own schedule, being able to, take time off, drop the kids off at school on my own schedule and my own time. And it's really become fruitful thanks to Upwork. I mean, my kids are in private school and I can set my own hourly rates. Upwork is phenomenal, and I hopefully what I share with you today will help you get to this level as well. So starting with the first slide here, how to choose the right projects and clients. And I can't stress this enough. As well as wanting to make money, of course, we want to be happy too. And I think that's where we need to start. And that comes with choosing the right projects and the right clients. So before you even accept an offer and you get maybe an invite to a job, or you send a cover letter to a job posting on Upwork, you want to ask questions about the project. Make sure the project is something that you actually want to do and are interested in. And I've had clients say, well, it kind of sounds like you're interviewing me. And it's like, yeah, I am, because you want the right freelancer, but I want the right client too. And many of my clients I have been with since Upwork started over 5 years ago. So, I'm here for the long haul, and hopefully the client is too. That's obviously how you make the most money, and that's how your job score, success score, it goes higher and higher. So, it should be mutually beneficial for both. So by asking the right questions, such as, what's your time frame? I like to get that question out of the way first. In fact, that's sometimes if I'm in a hurry and I get an invite to a job, that's one of the first questions or only questions I ask is, what's your time frame? One, I like that because it makes you look really busy, and it makes you look like you're not just hurried and ready to accept anything. So that's a little trick I use. And then, they say, oh, we're as soon as possible, or by the end of the month, or something like that. And then if you have other, projects you're working on, or you know, or just life, you can kind of evaluate if you have time for that. And it will also help you understand, is this client in it for the long haul? Are they just wanting to get it done by the end of the week? It's a one-off project, or are they here for a long time? And those are the ones you really, really want to hold on to. So communicate that. And at the same time, I like to evaluate the client's quirks and along with their expectations. And I have found that sometimes if they don't respond right away, or sometimes even if they like call me babe, or something that just doesn't seem right. I mean, that doesn't happen all the time, but you know, you want to evaluate the way the client interacts with you. Are they professional? Are they you know, what are they? And you know, you can look up the company as well. So, you know, evaluate those quirks. But don't get distracted by the desperation for the job offer. Even if you get the offer, you want to evaluate, make sure that the client is right for you. Read the reviews. Consider how long they've been on Upwork. I've had some clients that say, oh, I'm new here. I don't know how to send the job, and then you kind of have to walk through them, and you know, that's okay. It doesn't matter if they're a new to Upwork, but you do have to understand that, you know, there may be a learning curve for the client as well. Another thing is to look how much they have paid other freelancers. So you know, if your hourly rate is $40 an hour and they're used to paying $18 or $13 an hour to freelancers, they may judge you a little bit harsher on your work. Their expectations may be a little bit higher if they're going to pay you your hourly rate, which is, you know, twice what they're used to paying. You know, you need to understand all of that before going into it. Another thing is make sure the client's payment method has been verified, and never accept payment outside of Upwork. One mistake I did make one time, a client, they said, well, we need your social security number, and we need, and you know, I thought that was odd, but so I ended up giving them my social security number, and it was like the biggest mistake. Upwork was so great helping me. My you know, my identity ended up getting stolen because of that. So I cannot stress enough. Do not give any information. All of the tax information you need, everything is already on Upwork. At the end of the year, they send you that. I forget the name of what it's something like K11 or something like that. So you never ever need to give your social security number or fill out forms or anything. Maybe an occasional non-disclosure agreement, but you know, all of that is handled by Upwork, and that's why we have Upwork, because they protect you always. And you never want to accept payment outside of Upwork as well, simply because you may never get paid. Again, Upwork helps you and make sure that you get paid. Chasing people down, you know, is not okay. So if you've ever if you've ever done freelancing outside of Upwork, then you know that you know, there's a lot of invoicing, and with Upwork, you don't have to do that. So moving on now to how to grow your business through relationship management. Always respond to invites within 24 hours. Not only does that help your job success score, but it makes you look as professional as possible. And you may get clients faster because they already see, wow, you know, they're eager, they're professional, they're ready to work. So being responsive and attentive makes you look professional, but it's similarly, if a potential client doesn't respond for several days, be wary of them too. I've had where clients, they want something done by Friday. Okay, it's Tuesday. I'm racing to get something done. I send it on by the deadline, and then I don't hear from them. Crickets. So I had by judging the client and understanding their quirks and their expectations, you are able to evaluate how their response is. They could say, oh, I'm going to be away from the office, or I'm traveling, not so much right now, but sometimes, especially CEOs, they won't be able to get back to you very quickly. So but if they're not responding quickly, even to your proposal, or that could be a red flag. And be upfront with your client about the skills. So say the position is for a few social media ads, copywriting a few social media ads, or designing some social media ads. Let them know, hey, look, I also can do blog posts, or I'm really good at web pages. Sharing a little bit more about what you've done in the past, or what's in your wheelhouse, can help you keep that client a little longer, because they may think, okay, I just want like 5 or 6 social media ads. But if they know you've got more that your abilities, then they're going to keep you on longer. And of course that will bring in more money for you, and just be fruitful for everybody. And although we just mentioned that feedback is not required anymore, don't be afraid to ask for feedback at the end of your contract. Especially if you really enjoyed working for the client, chances are they loved you too. And so I always say, hey, if you liked working with me, if you wouldn't mind, could you just leave some feedback? It really helps me grow my business as a freelancer. And all of the time, I've never had a client say, no way. they want to help you out too, and they want to see you succeed, especially if it was a really good experience. So, and let your client know, hey, I'm going to leave you good feedback too, and then tell them that you look forward to working with them again, and that will help open the door to more work in the future. So, moving on to the next one, managing your projects and schedules. As a freelancer, you will have ebbs and flows. So managing your projects and schedules, especially, I don't know, sometimes I've noticed on Upwork where I will get so many invitations one week and maybe not so many the next. There's really sort of no rhyme or reason to it that I can find, but responding to every single invitation, and taking on the work will help you build up your business as a freelancer. But you want to be able to manage your projects and your time too. So you have to evaluate how long every project will take, as well as what else you've got going on. Are the kids out of school, or the holidays, you have a big event coming up. So you want to manage that. So write down all of the due dates for the clients, and you've already asked them, what's the time frame. So write down the due dates and the deadlines, and keep them on a calendar. For me, I write them everywhere. So I've got bells and whistles going off all the time. I've got, they're on my phone. I've written them down. And sometimes I'll email myself just a reminder. And you want to be realistic about the time frames. Sometimes on Upwork, I'll get an invitation that says, I need this today. And I am not going to say, if I can't do it, I'm not going to sacrifice a long-term client's happiness with what I'm doing by taking on maybe this one-off project that needs it done today. If I've got nothing else going on, hey, awesome. I've just made an extra $100 or something that I wasn't expecting to make that day. But you want to evaluate what's going on in your schedule and how flexible is your time frame that you can maybe push something else to the side while you work on something else. So another point is that you want to be specific with your time frame as well. So if you tell a potential client on a Tuesday that you can have it to them on Friday, but they don't hire you until Thursday, then you've kind of put yourself in the bind. You know, oh, well, you said Friday. No, I meant 3 days. So, you know, you want to be realistic so that everybody's happy. And check in with clients throughout the project. One thing that I like to do, say the client needs 5 emails written, like for an email funnel. I will send one and say, this is what I've done. How's it look? That way they can say, you're on the right track, keep going. And not like, whoa, you just did 5 emails like this. Now, you know, you're over budget, you know, this. So constantly checking in with the client, communicate, giving them a small sample of what you've done can really help, and really helps you earn the trust with the client. It helps them say, wow, this person's a professional. They know what they're doing. And that way also it avoids the client going, how's it going? You know, that micromanaging that sometimes happens with a client. I like to be proactive and say, this is how it's going, because the best part about being a freelancer, let's face it, is that you don't have a boss breathing down your neck. So, as I mentioned, always give those long-term clients precedence when possible. If they need something quickly, drop everything to assist a long-term client, and you'll just keep them happy forever, and they'll stay longer with you. So setting your rates, hourly versus fixed. A lot of times that could be a personal preference. For me, I prefer hourly rates. As a copywriter, you get a lot of edits. And I don't want to get stuck doing 3 or 4 or 5 rounds of edits and get it with a fixed rate, because then slowly this is taking up so much of my time, and now my hourly rate is less. So by really setting an expectation, having an hourly rate, telling the client this looks like it'll take 3 hours, will help you get will help keep everybody happy. But do take every project into account. Some projects may take you longer than others, so evaluate what makes sense for you and the client. And I'll say that in the job proposal or in the job posting, a client will say, we prefer fixed rate. Or a lot of times you'll see that, we prefer fixed rate. If you prefer hourly, let them know. Because you can say that. It's kind of like ordering off the menu, something that's not on the menu. You are your own business, and if they want you bad enough, they want your skills, stand up, be confident in your skills, and say, you know what, I prefer hourly. And then when you have that discussion, you know, they may say, oh, that sounds good, you're hired. But if you do choose fixed rate, just be upfront about, okay, this covers 2 rounds of edits, or 1 round, because you don't want to get burned. You don't want to have them keep going back and asking for more and more work, or slipping in something else. Oh, can you just add this? Because that's not in the contract. That's not what you signed up for. And again, managing your client expectations is about managing your own business and keeping yourself happy, because the longer you, or the happier you are, the happier you'll be, the more money you'll make, and it'll help you have more confidence in your business. And like I said, so for the hourly, you know, set that expectations. Okay, looking over this looks like it'll take about you know, 3 hours, or, you know, it takes me an hour to write 500 words or something like that. And for that, try not to negotiate your hourly rate. You may have a higher hourly rate than the next freelancer, but you may be more efficient. You may have been doing this longer. You may be, you know, something like for a blog that takes another freelancer 3 hours, it could only take you 1 hour. So the client will end up paying less anyway. So you could charge $60 an hour, but you're only it's only taking you an hour, whereas somebody may charge 20, but it's taking them 4. So, talk about that. I've had clients say, "Ooh, your rate's a little higher than what we're used to paying." And then I explain, well, this is how long something like this will take. And they'll say, "Oh, wow, you're getting it to us faster, and we're going to end up paying less." So, don't be afraid to explain yourself. And also, when you lower your rate, you're doing a disservice to other freelancers. We are all in this together. We are not competitors. And when you charge what you deserve, you are bringing up this entire industry of freelancers. So, look on Glassdoor, look on what seems reasonable as either an entry level, junior, senior level, and see what you should be charging, and be confident about your rate. So yeah, managing ebbs and flows, as I was mentioning, during the busy times, you may be flooded with work, and you may think, I'm good. I'm going to be solidly working for months. And then the next thing you know, you're like, oh, twiddling your thumbs. Okay, where did the work go? The client's marketing budget ended, or they're cutting, they're cutting freelancers, or they're taking a break, or whatever. So for that reason, during these busy times, keep bidding on jobs and responding to invitations, but be realistic. Tell them, I'm working on a big project right now. I can give you 2 or 3 hours of my time this week, but I can't really start until 2 weeks from now. Or, a client may say, I'm looking for somebody for 10 hours a week, and, but they love you. You still want to be hired, so let them know, I can give you just a few hours this week, but you're not always going to be as busy as you are. So just kind of don't say no. Just be realistic with your clients and let them know it happens to be a busy time right now. So hang on. And I've had clients hang on. They say, we will wait for you. We want you. And thank you for being honest about your time frame. And there will be downtimes. There will be. I've noticed. I've been trying to write down when the downtimes are. I'm not very good at that, but of course, the summertime is slower, and right around the holidays, that's also a slower time. So for me and you, this is the time when you should be working on your own personal brand. This is the time to work on your portfolios, update it. If you've been so busy with projects, you probably didn't update your resume or your portfolio for months. So let's get all those new projects packed in there. And also, if you have not purchased your domain name, which amandacaswell.com or johnsmith.com, you need to buy that. That's like the best personal branding that you can possibly do. And then you put your portfolio up there, put your resume up there, put a video of you explaining your work up there. And you can even have a link to a video on your profile on Upwork. So whatever you can do to advertise yourself, and work on your brand through social media, on your website, will help you earn more projects and make you look like the professional that you are. So be confident in your work. And then follow up with past Upwork clients. One cool thing about Upwork that I just love is that it saves all your messages. And trust me, I've been on there for five years since they started. So I know you can search your messages, and you can find, oh my gosh, I haven't talked to Steve for 3 years. I'm going to see how he's doing and see how his business is going and if he needs something else. So when you're constantly following up, it shows, initiative, and especially if they left you great feedback, then they're going to want to work with you again. And so let them know, you know what, I have availability right now. Let's see. So growing your own talents helps to grow your business as well. So during some of that downtime, you can, connect with freelancers and discuss projects. And like I said, other freelancers are not your competition. I have had freelancers on Upwork. One of them is in Chicago, actually. Send somebody my way just randomly. She was too busy, or the scope of work was out of her realm, and she knew that I cover copywriting as well as PR, and so she handed it over to me, and that's the way I think that all of us freelancers, I mean, we're sort of isolated, and we don't get to go to the office. We don't get to hang out in the water cooler, or go to office parties. So we have each other, and so be sure to connect with other freelancers on Upwork. See them on LinkedIn, and at the same time, don't be afraid to branch out as an expert in your own field. So for example, when I got into PR, one of my clients said, can you write a press release? And I had never written a press release, but I knew how to. I read several press releases, so I let them know. I said, well, I've never done one, but I can try. And they said, okay, try. And it turned out to be one of the most successful press releases they had ever done. So I branched out from copywriting to publicity to PR in that way, and then I started learning more about PR, and over the years have grown my skills that way. So if you are interested in a certain niche and have a little bit of skills, don't be afraid to apply to Upwork jobs entry level. So you may be an expert developer or an expert graphic designer, but have a little of skills in writing or something. Don't be afraid to apply to try new work, so that you can build up your portfolio that way. And then never stop learning about your industry, whether it's advertising or developing, whatever it is. Always be expanding your knowledge. You can do those tests. The Upwork offers those certifications. You can find courses online. Many courses are free, just reading. And this comes from some of the downtime that you may have. But discover new talents that you may not have known that are sort of intertwined in your own field. Can really help grow your business as well. So the key takeaways here is just ask questions before beginning a project. Learn the quirks of your clients, your potential clients, before jumping in. And one thing I'll add there is, don't completely write off a client from the start. I've had clients where I'm like, I'm throwing the towel in. This woman is very strict, or this man just he doesn't know what he wants. And then I've tried a little more and I've asked more questions, and then they've been some of my best clients. So it can be easy to get frustrated, but when you ask questions and get on that phone or get on that Zoom call and really hash it out, because sometimes typing questions doesn't always work, or the connotation isn't always the right way. Just having that face-to-face and that phone call can help you answer the questions that you need to before beginning that project. And don't let desperation for money or desperation for work sort of fog your view of what you really want. Like, do you really want to take on this project? Can you really do it? Do you have the skills needed? Don't let that flashing offer, like, I gotta take it, because you don't have to take every job that is offered to you. If you don't feel comfortable, ask more questions, get some more clarity, and before truly taking on. Don't let money, because let me tell you, as somebody that has been freelancing for so long, work will always come your way. You as a freelancer are in high demand. We just saw that chart that Regan put up there, and we are, it's only going up from here. So you are in high demand. So if you do not feel comfortable taking a job, or you don't like the client so much, you don't have to take it. There will be another one. And if you constantly have that portfolio updated and your resume updated and your profile on Upwork updated, then you'll succeed, and you'll make plenty of money doing this. Also, if you don't get hired from a job, even after asking these questions and either going over with a client, don't take it personally. There's a lot of us here, and there will always be another job. And you know what? From experience, I've had a client say, we hired somebody, they let us down, we'd like to hire you now. So be sure to end that. When they say, we found somebody else, don't say, well, I didn't want to work for you anyway, or something like that. You want to say, well, thank you. I look forward to hopefully working for you in the future. And you will leave a good professional tone in their head, and then, chances are they may come back to you because they're going to get more work too. So, and then don't be afraid to adjust your rate and availability. So in the summers, like I mentioned, or over the holiday breaks, if it's slower for you, you can go down a little bit on your rate. Or if a client is a startup and they really like you, but they only have a certain rate, say, I can give you this many hours at this rate. So you can negotiate. And that's one of the best things about being a freelancer, is that you own your business. And when you have the confidence to promote yourself and the work you do, you have that flexibility of your schedule and workload. So, don't be afraid there. And don't be afraid to ask for that feedback too, and give feedback, and let your client know, even if it's not publicly, in an email after a contract. Let them know, I really enjoyed working for you, and I really hope to work for you again soon.
Awesome. Well, that was wonderful. Thank you so much, Amanda, for all of your great tips and tricks. We really appreciate you taking the time to not only put together this presentation, but to also share all of this information with all of our freelancers who have been attending today. So I think that it was definitely, I found it really valuable. I hope that a lot of the rest of you found it really valuable as well. And if you guys have some time, stick around, and we're going to answer additional live questions here. But if not, again, we appreciate you attending, and we look forward to you connecting at the next one. Make sure to check out our events landing and webinar page for additional information on our upcoming events, and you will shortly also be able to find recordings and links to these current webinars. So I know there was a couple questions about that as well. So again, thank you, everyone. Have a great rest of your day. And without further ado, we'll get to some questions here. So I was kind of going through all of your questions in the question box as Amanda was presenting, to kind of pick out some good ones for both of us. And so if you didn't see your question answered just yet, that doesn't mean we're not going to get to it. It just means we're going to get to them all right now. So I have a good question here from, let's see, from Riva. Riva says, is there a way to connect with someone with similar skills and background to see how they navigate clients? And I know you mentioned briefly, Amanda, that you'd been connected with other freelancers before. So how did you get connected with them? Was it, through the platform or outside of the platform? It can be a little of both, but how did it come about for you?
Yeah, I find that the blogs on Upwork are really helpful. The community room, I'm probably not saying the name right. What's the name of
No, yeah,
the,
that's right. It's the community.
yeah, the community room, and you can chat with people there, and then also find them on LinkedIn, also find them on freelancers on Upwork. Even if you do a post on LinkedIn about Upwork, you're going to get a lot of likes and comments from fellow Upwork freelancers. So that's a great way. Just add them to your network, and have those chats and talk to them about what you do and what they do, because sometimes your client may say, do you know any graphic designers? And it makes you look so good when you do, or somebody else that can help with a project, because it's like, yeah, I have a huge network. Here's
Absolutely.
Riva or whoever it is, and you're just that much more helpful to your client and more valuable.
Absolutely. So I think the key there is probably just to try to reach out, either checking through the community forum and reading the blog post, or even searching other freelancers. So when you go to the top of your Upwork page where you can select to search for jobs, you can also change that to search for freelancers. So just as you mentioned, if you're not a graphic designer, but maybe your client asked if you know anyone, you can go search for graphic designer freelancers on Upwork and either message them through the platform, message them on LinkedIn, or anything like that to kind of just continue to build, that sense of community. So that was a really good question. We have another good one here from Megan L. She said, you mentioned having long-term clients for the past 5 years, and it's something I aspire to do. So how can I build more consistent income flow? And do you have any tips on how to attract these clients or to search for these long-term jobs?
Yeah, well, the job itself will say one month or long term. So keep an eye out for those. I found that a lot of the enterprise clients, and the more you're on Upwork, the more you will get invited to these talent clouds, which have amazing enterprise clients like Johnson and Johnson and Bissell and all these awesome guys. So the more you can build up your portfolio, even with small ones, will lead you to bigger projects, longer term relationships. So don't be afraid to take on smaller projects, because those will end up leading you're growing your base, which will end up being longer projects in the long run. Again, also by saying, okay, I noticed that you needed this in your job, but I also have these skills too that you may need as a startup or whatever it is. So by letting the client know that you've got this massive talent, they don't want to let you go, and so they're going to stay with you. Also, I have found that doing hourly kind of keeps them along. When you do a fixed rate, they they're going to pay you, and then maybe that's the end of it. But hourly, we're got a weekly thing going here, guys. So they're gonna keep you going on a weekly basis. And the more valuable you are, the better you work, the more communicating you can do to your client, with your client, the more available you make yourself, quickly responding to emails. All of these things make you so invaluable. They're not going to want to let you go, and they're going to want to keep you as part of their team. And you will feel not you won't just feel like a freelancer. You're going to feel like, well, I'm on the Johnson and Johnson team, or I'm on whatever team it is, because you are there for the long haul.
Absolutely. And I love so much that you say that, Amanda. And because it reminds me of another tip that you shared was to follow up with your clients, because that's something that we found in our study this year, and that a lot of feedback that we're getting from the clients is that they don't necessarily want to just hire a one-off freelancer. They're kind of seeing it as an extension of their team, especially in a remote way. And it's an extension of their team for someone who's a super expert in their field that they also don't necessarily have to keep on their payroll 365 days a year. So, even though they may only have this project right now, they might have projects they haven't even anticipated yet in the future. So just by, continuing to be responsive to them and following up with them, especially, probably towards the end of the year now during the holidays, or just amid the pandemic, to say, hey, I've been thinking of you, like, how are you guys doing? How are you faring? That, what we're hearing from the clients is that that really means a lot to them, because it really does, bring you into the fold and make you feel like that you are a part of their team just as much as they're a part of your team. So I think that's really, really good advice. And then, so on that note, another quick shout out was a note from Marina. She said, I've been on Upwork since there was an Upwork, and this has been some really good advice from Amanda here. So that one wasn't so much a question. Yeah, but just a shout out. So definitely agree on that one.
Yeah.
So let's see. Time for another one as well?
Yeah, sure.
All right, let's see. Well, some of these are just quick for me to answer. So one is, does Upwork recognize Microsoft certifications? And yes, they do. That's one of those new additions that we added, or updates, I should say. So now you're able to list any certifications that you have, like Adobe, Microsoft, Google, anything like that. So just make sure you're checking out the new updates to your profile page to add those to you there. And let's see. There was another good one here. Where did it go to? How do you approach, this is from Fiona, how do you approach an existing client about increasing your hourly rate and after the contract has developed over some time? So have you ever had to do that for any of your long-term clients?
Yeah. What's so cool, and I feel very, very lucky, is that I have this one client who I have to say I almost wrote off. Like, my husband, I said, I can't deal with this person, but she ended up being one of the best, and she keeps raising my rate on her own. And she keeps giving bonuses. So you guys, when you truly take care of your clients, they will take care of you. And so to answer your question, it's a lot like asking for a raise from your boss. You can say, I've created these social media ads for you. I know that because of what I did, A, B, and C happened. You got this many more, whatever. And by writing out and proving what you have done, you make a statement for yourself about why you should be paying more or being paid more. Also, if you have a client that you love, that you worked with forever, and you don't want to raise your rate with them, that's okay too, because you can the next time you're gonna get hired, you can charge them $10 more too, and that's okay too. So I have had clients where they all sort of pay different rates because they came on at different times. So the people that came on maybe five years ago that maybe that was $40, and then these new guys are paying $62, but they don't know about these other guys, so that's totally okay. And also, if you are so busy that your time is now that much more precious, don't be afraid to charge more, because that hourly rate is so much more valuable, because you just don't have enough hours in your day. And again, like I said, for the slower times, you can charge less. But in terms of charging a client that you've had for a while a little bit more, just let them know, January 1st, my rates are going to go up, just $1 or $2. It's not like you're going to go, drastic, but yeah, and they'll be okay with it. They love you.
That was really good advice too. And I think it all kind of just comes back to open communication, and also just kind of making sure that the relationship, you're both working together to keep each other happy. So just as you were saying, you have that one client who maybe was really difficult to work with in the beginning, but then they started giving you bonuses and raising your rate for you, and then you love working for that client, and you love putting out great work for that client. So I think a lot of clients do recognize that that's a mutually beneficial relationship, especially those clients that are looking for someone to basically add to their team and someone for more long-term projects. It can be hard sometimes, where if you're ever working for a client who, maybe only needs one job one time and is never really going to revisit the platform, they may be very price sensitive. But for the most part, that's not the clients that we're seeing join the platform, and definitely not the type of client that we're seeing the most growth in. The most growth that we're seeing is a lot of these larger enterprise clients who really need professionals, but who want enable them to have their own creativity and to run their own businesses, and to bring their own uniqueness to the company. So I think if you can justify, just as Amanda was saying, my rates are increasing because I've been able to increase, your readability or your exposure 300% in the last 6 months, X, Y, and Z, then a lot of times clients, they won't have a problem with it. They will understand the additional value that you're bringing to them. So, it might be an uncomfortable conversation, but that's a part of learning to grow your freelance business as well. So I think that's pretty much it that we have for time for questions today. We're just about out of time now. Was there anything else that you wanted to end with, or any parting words of advice, Amanda? You've already given so much. So thank you for everyone who stuck with us through the end here. It looks like pretty much almost all of you have stayed on for the Q&A. So again, thank you again, all of you, Amanda, attendees. We couldn't do this without you guys.
Yeah, and you guys are all so invaluable to these companies, and so have the confidence that to charge what you deserve, and to take on projects that are long term, because finding good people is difficult. So
it is.
You're all great.
And I love it. I guess I'll just end it on what you said earlier, Amanda, but that we're not here to compete with each other. We're all in this together, because that is so true. Because that's why our clients are coming to Upwork, for the uniqueness of each individual person. So, don't get discouraged if you're not getting hired for every single job. It might just mean that it's not the right job. It's not the right fit. But when you do find those jobs and those clients that you just really click with and you really mesh with, then it's just a whole different world. And it's more enjoyable to work and to do your work. And, just even highlighting on the Freelancing 2020 report, we have nowhere to go but up. And so if you guys, are worried about starting your freelance business, think about all the people in the next 3 months, 6 months, 1 year that are going to start after you. So you still have a head start on all of them. So, just keep going, believe in yourself. You guys are already doing awesome. And if you need anything else, just please continue to come back, check out these webinars, and connect with us. So, all right, that's it. Thank you guys so much for attending. I hope you have a great rest of your day. Bye.
Bye.